Okay, everybody kind of ready to introduce themselves. We get what we get to do is starting is we get to introduce ourselves and we go back around the table and then you guys could describe your characters. You don't have to go in length. We don't have to give a 15-minute delving and find out that you were traumatized by that by the peacock in the tree who took a dump on your baby sister or something like that. We don't have to go that far, but yeah.
Well, let's start. I'm Brian Downs, and this is the first episode of Scribblers Rest, which is going to be a webcast where Central Florida creatives are here at Gods and Monsters recording gaming sessions, which we're going to put on YouTube. Gods and Monsters, the beautiful geek culture center here in Yardigan Marketplace on International Drive, where we're enjoying their bar products. You should come down and do the same thing. I'm Brian Downs. I'm the author of the Berlin Fraternity, the Carrefour Crisis. I write for Florida Geek Scene. Who are you, Larry?
I am Larry Haydorn. I'm a new author writing Age of the Fallen series. And other than that, I've got my own private, very small YouTube channel, and that's about it.
Miriam? I'm Miriam. I'm the co-owner of Yankee God Studios. We have a shop actually right across from Gods and Monsters because we're cool that way. And we do traditional animation, illustration, and art celebrating anime and video games and all kinds of nerdy stuff. So,
I'm DJ. I'm the other half of Yankee God Studios. Also in the shop that's 10 feet outside the door. I specialize in spray paint, graffiti, and urban style illustration, and everything else that she said. So.
And I'm William Tucker. I'm the Game Master of the evening. I've written adventures for both the Hackmaster and Pathfinder game systems. If you're looking for my Hackmaster products, the first one is Mugful of Mayhem, and then the other is Tiwidu, Village on the Verge, which has 3 minor adventures spawning from that. My first Pathfinder adventure / 5th edition, actually, will be Slaughter at Splinterfang Gorge. That should be out the second quarter of this year. Everybody, please describe what character you're going to be playing this evening.
Tonight I'm playing Michael Pinebrook, young cleric of Gorum the War God.
Okay.
Tonight I am playing Dr. Sutar Malthakto. He is a tiefling wizard.
I'm playing Taiga Shri. She's a halfling bard.
And I am simply known as Corin. I am playing a human barbarian.
Okay. Tonight we're starting in the Duchy of Neelan. We're starting actually in the on the eastern edge of this small little region, where it's the last little bits of civilization. We're starting in Loam's End. It's really the only significant population center within a 15-mile radius, and it rests near the Azure Tier Sea. The village numbers about 2,000. Numbers about 2,000 people, mostly human, but you do have a sprinkling of elves and gnomes and halflings. Okay, it specializes in, of course, fishing, rope making, and ship making. And outlying, we have some outlying farms of cattle. So Loam's End does have a meat, dairy, and leather industry. So between the animal pens and the fisheries and the tanneries, it does quite have a very fragrant odor about it, at least to the newbies that have gathered here. Okay, it has 2 taverns. One is the Captain's Wheel that caters to the ship owners, merchants, and other well-to-dos, and then the other tavern, more to the style of the common workers and sailors and farmers, is called the Lamprey's Lament. The reason that these 4 individuals have gathered is they all are members of the Firm Hand Mercenary Guild, and which is a guild that spans all of the duchy, and they have all come to Loam's End because they heard that there was going to be a guild house opening there, and there was more adventure to be had from what they understood. Except they just discovered that the guild house is not going to be open for like another 4 to 6 weeks. It still hasn't been properly built yet. But there are a couple of town's guards right there that are looking over this quartet that have wandered in.
What time of day is it?
It is about, you would say, a couple hours before noon.
Typically, we would call that morning.
Yes.
What time of year is it?
Time of year, it is the beginning of fall.
I see. And it's a temperate climate, kind of similar to New England?
Yes.
And the Azure Tier C is a saltwater body?
Yes.
And are we on the ass end of nowhere, or is this a shipping lane?
You do have some merchant traffic going on through, so you do have ship lanes. And some of the people that don't want to risk, because it does get turbulent to sea, of course. Some of the tradesmen do use the route, the East Trade Road, but it's mostly shipping.
All right, so we came here because the Mercenaries Guild was opening a franchise,
Yes.
but that's been delayed.
Yes.
So we have 4 to 6 weeks to pick Lynn out of our belly buttons.
Not quite. As you approach, there were 2 guards. Looks like they were actually stationed here, which seems kind of odd because the guild house is more in the center of town, and they're looking you over, and they're like,
I look them over.
okay.
I do this.
Okay, one of the older guys with a slight scar by right here, maybe just had, he rolled a 1 on his shaving skill that morning, but he
used to
like,
be an adventurer like me until he took a straight razor to the face.
Exactly. But he's like, are you perhaps looking for work? Because unfortunately, as you can tell, they haven't opened yet. But our Lord Bosk is definitely looking for some able-bodied individuals for a task that he has that's been weighing on his mind lately.
Out of character, is Lord Bosk a prince, a duke, a criminal racketeer? What is he?
You heard he's the Earl of the town.
Well, I make a point of saying we may be looking for work if the Earl is looking to hire.
Okay. Well, if you just go right up to the
Right.
anybody
Yes,
else?
Of course.
Okay.
Dude,
And
is there,
looking to pay.
is there a doctor in town?
We do have 2 chapels here that could probably alleviate any ills that you might have gotten from the road. Erastil, we have a temple for that, and we also have Gazre. Those 2 chapels there. Gazre is more towards the docks, but Erastil is more towards the north end of town.
Being a doctor, I'm always exposed to the people around me and their sicknesses.
Out of character, are you really sick? Because I
I have a chronic cough.
okay.
Okay.
But
Out of character, I don't like this word.
We wanted to keep the couple together, but you know.
Speak loud and clear, you might want to wrap that towards your mouth.
Oh, me? Okay.
yeah.
I can put it up my nostril.
We travel together. You would recognize it. It would probably not be a sickness as much as a physical, some sort of just physical condition.
I recognize that your grandfather was a devil, and I don't trust wizards.
Well, we
Oh, this
can't
is
all
fantastic.
pick who our parents or grandparents or anybody else is. We're just kind of born into this world.
Some of us can pick who our parents are. No, they can't. But that's not an excuse. So, what does the Earl have in mind?
You would have to ask him.
I can't speak for my companions, but as for me, I'm willing to see what comes.
Okay.
Look these guys over. I mean,
Are you looking for a date?
no.
It's been a long road.
Corin is starting to look good to me.
You just like my axe.
I love a man with a big axe.
Is there anything that sticks out about these
Look at that metal work.
sticks
All right.
out about these guys at all as far as equipment that maybe is too expensive for them, or gashes in their armor or bloodstains, or
Their armor has definitely seen better days and everything, and they're armed with morning stars, not like swords or anything like typical larger cities.
Is there unrest in the region? Is there a war going on, or enemies, barbarian hordes?
Not
whatever?
as of yet. It's not unheard of, but it has been quiet as of late. You haven't heard of any attacks in the last 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
But you do know there's more wildness as far as nature goes
This
on in
raises
this
the
region.
question of why we came here, because we're mercenaries.
Right.
Did we say to ourselves, let's go to the most peaceful place for 500 miles in any direction and see if anyone wants to hire some mercenaries?
Well, since the opening is there, I'm assuming that's at least a point of interest for us.
Yeah.
So something's going on if they chose this place to open a new franchise.
That does
I
raise a good
guess.
question. Why are they opening a new franchise of the Mercenaries Guild when there's no war going on here, or fighting, or Cold War? Anyway, never mind. We'll see what Earl has to say.
Okay.
Well, wait, think about it. All you have to do is get a bunch of adventurers together, and there's bound to be trouble.
I kick her.
The cleric kicks the
jokingly-
halfling.
I jokingly kick at
The
her.
barbarian laughs.
Dance, little acrobat, dance.
Okay.
We've seen all these moves already. It's been a long road.
I say that with love. Yeah, we'll find out where the Earl is.
All right. They just point up the lane. Looks like it dips a little, but then there's a two-story building, which is mostly wattle and daub, which is you expected better for that. You know, this is kind of like peasant material that they use, but you know, and even the sign on it, from you could tell, looks like it's made from driftwood.
Yes,
actually.
He's the Earl of Bithlow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can only squeeze so much blood out of a turnip. Or cow
Starting to
turd,
question
one
his
of the two.
pockets if this is the squalor that he lives in.
Oh boy, we screwed up big time.
Well, our path has brought us here. Let us see what may come.
Okay.
The gods work in mysterious ways.
I sense a lot of cow tipping going on here tonight.
Hey, that's still an adventure. That's still good.
Okay. All right, you guys walk up the lane. You actually see two more guards, and they're looking at you. It looks like they're looking past you, and they're like, okay. So they was like, oh, okay, welcome. He'll go ahead and see you now.
Thank you.
And they open the doors, the double doors. So what you do is,
These guys are
Do
working
they
hard.
appear in better condition than the last 2 weeks?
actually, yes, these guys are actually armed with swords.
These are the elite guard.
They look a little battle worn, or are they still pretty?
They seemed a little bit older than the first pair. A little bit more grizzled.
They're
Ac-
actually
ac-
the fathers of the first pair.
And definitely, you can see they seem to be a bit more exposed to the sea too. You know, just a little bit more weather beaten, but yeah.
Wow, gout.
If anybody wants to put in any certain order as you're being ushered in.
Well, I have no problem
Okay.
in going in right behind the barbarian.
Apparently the cleric loves my company, so I will stay next to the cleric. Where are you?
I have no problem going in first.
I am where the Lord sends me,
Yeah.
which is right
The
behind.
Lord
Corin.
sends us behind the barbarian.
Where are you? Oh,
Okay.
the rear's all clear.
Now, it should be obvious to all of us that the most charming member of our party is our bard. What's your character's name again?
Taiga.
Taiga.
Yes.
Taiga is our most naturally
Oh,
charming and
yay.
influential member.
I don't
Okay.
quite understand what you're talking about.
What I'm saying is that you're a demon weirdo. And that my piety sometimes puts off those who are less in touch with the divine.
But then that means I have to go in front of the barbarian, and I don't want that.
It's a meeting with the Earl. It's not like they're 15 goblins.
Anything can happen. I don't know.
Yes. Any moment now, goblins start pouring in the windows. The Earl is like, damn it, not again.
I have no problem going in first.
All right.
Are there 4 orcs in this room?
They're going to represent something.
Okay.
Well, so-
ORC.
I don't like the way you said that.
No union.
All right.
peace, equal opportunity. But okay, you guys walk in. You see a rather actually ornate table made. You think it's made from oak, and you know you're not near any forest, so at least it looks like it was imported. You see the man. He looks like he's coming to a stand, looking at you guys. He is. He's tall, bullish man in his mid-50s. His sable hair is wild and thick. He's got a His mustache and beard, both shot with white, but it looks like it's slightly waxed. And his shoulders are about as wide as an axe handle, but maybe rounding a little bit from age. But looks like he could easily flip the table if he needs to.
Push this in front further.
As slightly striking as he is, the 4 other individuals you see are not necessarily, you would say, alive. They are they're wooden man-sized figurines of archers, except they look like they're actually holding longbows. And you do notice in their quivers, it's not wood; they're actually feathered. And let's see. And I'd have to say, Pinebrook, you do hear a little bit of groaning of wood from that direction right there. You could detect maybe it's moving a little bit. At least that one. Plus, and I would have to also say, Larry, sir, or Malfecto, you're paying more attention to what's behind there. On a freestanding bird rest is a pelican looking, giving everybody a look. And you also notice the pelican, for some darn reason, has a wooden leg.
Well, probably it lost a leg in an accident.
Obviously a pirate.
A pelican used to be an adventurer like us. Until it took an arrow in the knee.
The pelican looks intelligent
It's a pelican.
because it's watching us. I mean, it's like it's studying us. Okay.
It's giving disdain, but it's giving disdain equally.
What's the Earl wearing?
I will go ahead and advance toward the table.
Okay.
I will move up into the room at least
Okay.
and shut the doors. I mean,
What's the Earl wearing?
Earl wearing? It's mostly furred. Looks like maybe a furred cape. Looks like maybe a bit of winter wolf intermingled with some minks. So I guess he's going for, I don't know, maybe a little color coordinated stuff going on there. But it's mostly a gray outfit, trimmed with a little blue now and then. You don't see him armed with anything, though. So.
he's unarmed.
My attention is on the figures.
Okay.
Liberace,
Now that
the
you're paying
Earl of
attention, they do seem to be moving their heads a little bit.
Okay.
That's not cool.
But Lord Bosk, he says, friends, travelers, you've caught me in a little bit of a situation here. And from what I understand, you traveled a far way, and looks like you might be without a job for a little while, at least with the employers that you meant to serve. Well, I could fill your needs. Until then, we could both work together on this little problem I have.
Look him over. I know you've talked about the expensive, the wolf's furs and everything.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, bulges or anything else sticking out of him, or jewelry of any sort?
Herniation.
Cod pieces.
Necklace,
All right.
signet ring.
Okay. Okay. Well, Malfect, you do notice he definitely has a chain that probably leads to an amulet on his neck. You can't see what the amulet actually is, but you could see a little bit of a bulge right under his tunic.
Does it look like a thick gold chain or
Yes.
delicate?
Yes, it does look thick gold.
Okay, so it's expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say, the war god has passed down every road, and he must have brought us to you.
Here we go with the war god again.
Shut it.
Okay. All right. Well, I was not the ruler of this town. Prior to me, there was the Hildorns, and they ruled this. They ruled the at least the surrounding region for the last for 2 centuries. I only came into this because I'm doing a favor for somebody. But the Hildorns, they do have a manor that's nearby, and that property is going to finally be coming to me legally within about a month. And I am very, very certain that it's occupied by vermin and everything, and I would like to have that taken care of.
You said you're doing this for a favor for somebody?
I'm ruling here as a favor for
You're
somebody.
the village sitter.
Yes.
Favor for who?
For Duke Dunair, the ruler of the duchy.
Okay. All right.
And
So why did he appoint you as the babysitter?
Okay. Do you want to do any skill checks with that?
Sure.
Charisma.
Huh?
You being charismatic.
Yes. Sorry. Crap.
This is why I never became a
Do I have to?
performer.
Do I just give you the number?
Give me a number. I meant, you got diplomacy?
Yes.
Okay.
I got a 16. And diplomacy plus 7.
Okay.
Which totals out at 23.
23.
just-
Thank you, because
you just-
math is...
You just add that plus to the result of the die.
Ah, sorry. Okay. Should have calculated then.
Let's just say this was the only station that was available to me. I do have a bit of a wandering eye, and I looked at the wrong gal, who was married to to the head of a merchant guild, and let's just say I had to pay off a big favor to be here.
He's made you ruler of this place as a way of shitting on you.
Barbarian gives a half chuckle.
Well, we all have our fates.
Yes.
Where is your vermin-infested manor house?
Okay.
As this goes on, I'm going to
Yeah.
move a little closer to this, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
I would definitely like to know more about
Things
what's
moving
actually
and
inside.
armed,
supposedly.
of course, pique my
Reportedly.
interest.
Okay. The arms are not moving, but definitely the head is.
Okay.
So the eyes are not, but the head is.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay. They all got their little tricorn hat and everything. You definitely know what their function is.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the
Decoration.
manor is located on the small cape to the east of town. And
On a spit of land above the lonely sea.
yes, and you will definitely, you definitely cannot miss it. It's I haven't been in there personally. I mean, I have looked it over and stuff like that, but it just seemed not good enough to approach alone.
You just said it was
Unfortunately, I
full
can't
of
take
vermin.
my best guards there with me. They're kind of bound to this manor.
You just said it was full of vermin.
Yes.
How do you know?
How do I know? There was there's been reports. Some of the curiosity seekers have been in there, from what I understand. I've heard that possibly bats of a large variety there. Some rats, maybe the size of some mastiffs, have been wandering around.
Rats of extraordinary size.
Lord Gorham honors no fools. So we're willing to take on this task if you can guarantee us with reasonable certainty that it's a moderate number of challenge rating 1 creatures, or maybe just like one.
What is this you speak of?
Should I break out the legal forms?
He looks to his PowerPoint presentation, but
Still
I will-
facing the statue, I'm actually going to turn and ask, and what benefit do we get for this favor?
for signing on, you'll be getting 250 gold each, 50 of it now, and I'll also be kicking in 1 healing potion each.
I'd like to roll sense motive.
Okay, go
That
for it.
sounds like a good idea. Best idea I heard the cleric say.
16.
Okay. You get a sense that he's honest in his intentions, but he's not saying everything.
Yeah. The average person in this village makes about 8 gold pieces a year. and he's willing to throw 1,000 gold pieces at us to solve his rat problem. This is my I don't believe this face.
Sounds like some big bats to me.
It sounds to me like there's more going on here. I mean, what is the deal with this house? I mean, why is this becoming your house now? It's just
It was in the land deed expires within a month, and it's a sturdy house, at least exterior-wise, from what I understand. And I would like to renovate it again, but it hasn't been occupied, from what I understand, in quite some time. And I've always been eyeballing the property. I've only been here for about a couple years now, but I've been wanting to branch out. And with us being on the edge of the frontier, this town is growing little by little. And I'd actually like to move out of town.
And who owns the current land deed? The current land deed. Who's the land owner?
Well, it's basically going to fall into my hands eventually. It still technically belongs to the Hillborns, but as long as nobody steps forward, it'll fall onto me.
And where are these Hillborns at? Where do they reside?
On the hill.
Where they were born.
They don't wander. They don't wander very far.
Otherwise they're called seaborn.
A genetic abnormality that runs in the family. They're all born with no legs, so they can't get very far from that hill.
The last one hasn't been. The last Hillborn that we know alive hasn't been spotted in like about 25 years now, and we do know there's a bit of a family plot over there too, but no one has stepped forward in these 24 years and 11 months.
And the last Hillborn died of old age, natural causes, fell into the sea.
We do not know.
I see. Could I confer with my companions?
Sure.
Oh, we're going to leave the room, not you. Okay.
Okay, no, we're not. No.
So in order to claim this house, you have to have it cleared.
No, I want it cleared. It's going to be mine within a month.
Whether it's cleared or not.
Right.
Okay. All right. 1 second. For a moment of your time.
Okay.
So we'll step outside.
Okay.
And then we'll go a little further away so that we can't be heard. We'll
Okay.
try to break line of sight so no statue can shoot me in the ass.
All right.
And I'll say, so, as many aristocrats, the Earl is a lying bastard. This house belonged to an aristocratic family that has vanished for reasons he can't explain. No one has dared touch it for 2.5 decades, although it's a perfectly good structure. He's never been in it, but he certainly wants it. And he's willing to throw at us like 10 years' wages for the average farmer in this area to go in there and deal with his bats.
Have you seen the average farmer in this area?
However,
My cabbages!
no mortal can plumb the inscrutable mind of the Lord of War. And obviously he has led us here as mercenaries, and this is the battle that presents itself. I say we take his money and proceed.
So just go